Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're tackling a big historical question that pops up a lot. It's a fair question. You'd think that if Jesus really existed and did all the things the Bible says, then surely someone at the time would have written about him, right? Let's break this down. First, we need to define what we mean by historical book. A lot of people are asking why there aren't contemporary, non-religious writings about Jesus, things written while he was alive. And the simple answer is, Jesus wasn't that big of a deal at the time. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Jesus didn't exist. In fact, most historians agree there probably was a historical figure named Jesus of Nazareth. What I am saying is that during his life, Jesus didn't attract the kind of attention that would get him written about by Roman historians. Back then, the Roman Empire ruled over a very volatile region, and in Judea, there were many self-proclaimed messiahs, many Jewish sections, many preachers. Jesus was just one of many. Some of his teachings weren't even unique. They were heavily influenced by earlier rabbis like Hillel the Elder, and possibly even groups like the Essenes, who were known for their strict religious lives. So, why did Jesus become such a big deal later on? Paul, also known as the Apostle Paul or Saul of Tarsus, was the one who spread Jesus' teachings to non-Jews, to the Gentiles. Before Paul, the Jesus movement was just another small Jewish sect. But when Paul said, "Hey, this message is for everyone," that's when it started growing. That's when people began documenting it. That's when it started to matter historically. Now here's another question. Could Paul have just made all this up? Maybe. But consider this. When Paul was doing his missionary work, a lot of the people who knew Jesus were still alive. His disciples, his followers, people who could have said, "Hey, that's not what happened." And we don't see any serious pushback like that in the record. But wait, you might say, the Romans kept great records. Where's the record of Jesus' crucifixion? Good question. But here's the thing. Romans did keep records, yes. But executing a local troublemaker in a minor province like Judea wasn't newsworthy. It was common. Those records, if they ever existed, were sent to Rome and probably lost, deteriorated, or destroyed over the centuries. We don't have detailed records of most crucifixions, and there were thousands. So no, we don't have any Roman documents from the exact time Jesus lived that mention him. But we do have sources like Tacitus and Josephus, who wrote about Jesus decades later. Still quite early by ancient standards. They're not perfect, but they do point to the historical reality that Jesus existed. Let's recap. Jesus didn't make headlines during his life. There were lots of other preachers and messiahs. His movement stayed small until Paul spread it beyond Judaism. Roman records of minor executions rarely survived. Historical mentions start appearing after his death, once his following began to grow. So, is the lack of historical books from Jesus' lifetime a reason to doubt he existed? Not really. It would actually be more surprising if we did have detailed records. Whether you see Jesus as a religious figure, a historical one, or both, understanding the context of his time helps explain why the documentation looks the way it does. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever wondered about other historical figures and the evidence of their lives? Let us know what you'd like us to cover next. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.